FM.
On
Twitter at Mainland FM. We are the sound of Lagos.
And we're always looking forward to these moments. And then,
follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. On Twitter at Mainland FM.
You rest on Sunday, and by Monday, you get to face life squarely. I think it's a Nigerian spirit. My former colleague used to tell me something that he feels the government is taking advantage of the attitude that Nigerians always give, the never, the never die spirits that Nigerians would always find a way around things. Well, from 85 naira, 87 naira to 120 to this to that. The speculations that the price of petrol could go up, but the president had assured Nigerians that the current prices would remain as it is now. Perhaps it will lead us into the conversation of the idea of temporary subsidy. These are the conversations that have dominated the media space in the last 24 hours. And there's been some statements to deny such rumor. But let's say all of these things will span out. The dollar has been, really badly hit, especially from the end of May, the early weeks of June, and obviously because of the official removal of the subsidy. Well, we continue to monitor all of these things, and then, we get to see how the government would be able to bring to the faces of Nigerians the smiles that obviously the hopes that Nigerians had. Let me put it this way: the over 8 million people that voted for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and don't forget that the legitimacy of that result, of that mandate, is still being challenged in court by the two major opposition parties, the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party. But all things being equal, we have a president and he's obliged to, live up to all of his promises to Nigerians. He talked about the renewed hope. He talked about the things he's going to do to bring smiles to the faces of Nigerians. Well, early days, less than 100 days in office, and Nigerians have had to deal with quite a lot of policies, from the official removal of subsidy, the floating of the naira, the harmonization, the tax committee that was set up, and there's just been, quite a few things here and there. But maybe when the Mr. President finally decides to, designate portfolios to his ministers, they've all been screened last week. The screening finished last week. And the Nigerians are hoping that within the next couple of days, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would assign portfolios to those about 48 names submitted, about 46 of them screened. The immediate past governor of Kaduna State, the former FCT minister, seems to be the most embattled of all of the 48 names that was brought to the floor of the Senate. His screening was stepped down. There were reports of, quite a number of petitions against his nomination. So, and there's been some back and forth. In fact, I think on Monday, there were words that the current governor of the state, His Excellency Obasani, is, rejecting the name that was brought forward to replace the nomination of Malam Nasir Rufai. But, there's been quite a lot of things that have been said about his candidacy. Administrative-wise, I remember a friend of mine worked with him when he was FCT minister, and he'd always said about the quality of his leadership as an administrator. But as a politician, there's always, reasons why people would probably not feel comfortable with your position on certain issues. There's been a lot of statements that a lot of people feel it could, instigate some form of, issues amongst the people, especially his position on religious, conversations, basically. So we're hoping that within the next couple of days, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would assign portfolios to all of these people, and then maybe the government would start taking proper shape. It's been quite a very long journey. It looks like we started off yesterday. But we're way into 70 days of this administration, and Nigerians are asking quite a lot of questions. Well, you're welcome once again. This program comes up every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5 p.m. And what we basically do is we talk about policies, we talk about politics, we talk about those things, those decisions of the government, how does it affect the people negatively, positively, And of course, for those ones that usually have negative effects, it would always bring, experts. It would always bring people that understand the business of politics, governance, leadership, the economy, out into the studio to have the conversation. And at the end of the day, the ultimate is not just to analyze the problems, would also bring up, workable solutions to some of these problems that Nigerians are facing as a result of policies. And I will still say this: the essence of governance is about the people. However, form of governance that it is, whether military, whether civilian, whether any form of government, especially the ones that are not particularly so popular around the world, it's majorly about the people. There's no way you want to put it. Whether you're running the parliamentary system of government, however one you're running, you have the queen, you have the prime minister, you have an executive. However way you look at it, it's about the people. I mean, the basic of the definition of democracy has to be the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So every policy that the government brings to the table, you'd expect it to be people friendly. You expect it to be, policies that would have effect on everybody, irrespective of your social status, irrespective of how much money you have, irrespective of where you stay, whether you stay in the urban area, you stay in the rural areas. Policies of the government are supposed to have effect on everybody. And most times, if the policies are not good, it will always have effect on everybody. So you talk about the removal of the subsidy. I mean, no matter how rich you think you are, there are a lot of people that are not as rich as you are around you. So the moment those ones get broke, they run to you. So it affects you. And of course, the way it affects someone that sells, for instance, roasted corn at Abulegba under bridge, or, someone that sells yam at Oshodi, for instance. Those are the things that the policies of the government are meant to address. Give quality life to the people, provide them quality security, provide them quality education, provide them quality health care, provide them a level playing ground, provide them policies that would help especially small scale businesses. Nigerian economy is quite fragile, and they would always need these the small businesses to stimulate the economy. The employers of laborers in their 10s, in their 20s, in their 30s, those small businesses would always be needed to stimulate growth in the economy. I mean, it's not everyone that can employ as large as Dangote, for instance, or that can employ as large as, Boa Cement, for instance. Those little businesses that can bring 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, just to put food on their table. Those are the kind of business that the government really needs to focus on. And in this case, power is always very essential. I mean, if I'm into a business, for instance, and the little profit that I'm making, instead of me to recycle the profit and probably share it into two, use 50% to reinvest into the business, use 30% to keep body and soul together and save 20%. You end up using almost 60% of that profit to power the business, just power. Then you would have to pay salaries, there are other logistics, there are miscellaneous that would need to be attended to. So the government needs to be very, very intentional and deliberate about fixing the power sector in this country. And that's why we had that conversation last week with Mr. OPEYEMI. He would be joining us, by the way, tomorrow, 4 to 5 p.m. He's the head of political desk of Guardian newspaper. And we had that conversation about how important is it that we must get the choice of who becomes the minister of power right this time around. Over 2 trillion has been reportedly spent on the power sector within 1999 and 2017. And from 2015, in between that particular number till now, we spent huge amount of money, to pumping into it the privatization that took place under former President Olusegun Obasanjo, changing it from NEPA to Power Holdings, the distribution. I mean, it's just been so much into it. And at the end of the day, Nigerians are still dealing with it. So it got worse. Now that petrol is very expensive, so you have a business and you have to sell at night. For instance, you have a frozen food store and you have to sell at night. You have to make, and there's no light. Or probably you're selling bread or something by the roadside at night and you're waiting for that place where people are coming back from work. They just get quick fix and they go. But there's no, so the little generator, the one people popularly call I Pass My Neighbor, that's little one. Somebody made a post recently about the new price of that small generator. I took it upon myself to make 1 or 2 calls to confirm. And it's actually, and I'm like, this generator, we bought it for less than 10,000 when we were in the university. And don't make it look like it's so many years ago, just a couple of years back. But look at the cost of it right now in the market. So, yes, security is very essential, because no matter how well you try to fix the economy, if the people are not secured, if you like, build the most expensive hospitals, if you like, provide the best infrastructures, low cost housing estates, whatever you want to build, if the people don't feel secured, if the country don't feel safe, investors will not come in, and the people even staying here will not enjoy those facilities. So that's why the constitution spelled it very clearly. The primary responsibility of the government is to provide security for lives and properties of the people that gave them mandate, the people that, trusted them with their votes, with their franchise. So that's the primary responsibility of the government. And if that does not get fixed, yesterday on the show, I had the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Orientation from Plateau State join us on the show, and we needed to have that conversation yesterday. The killings in that state is not good. I think that's just the best way to put it out. It's not good. On daily basis, there are reports. Unfortunately, maybe when the numbers, build up and the media picks it, in the space of about 4 or 5 months, if you check the reports, it's very well within the public space. Over 300 people at different times. So we needed to have that conversation yesterday with the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Honorable Musa Ashoms. He was with us on the show yesterday. So it just shows that it is very important for government to be deliberate about securing the people. When the people come up with conversation around, a security vote, I just laugh. I mean, it's quite unfortunate that the Constitution does not even recognize the security vote, by the way. It's not something that is constitutional. It's just, those tiny rip-offs from the allocations of the local government chairman, just put everything together and it's okay, 10% of this, 10% of this, 10% of this. And you're wondering, where exactly are those monies going to? And the commissioner yesterday said, well, they provide logistics for the security outfit in the state, mobilization, the trucks that they buy. So I wonder, after this session yesterday, when government donates vehicles to the Nigerian police, they make it look like it's a big project. They put it on TV, put it on radio. They provide maybe vehicles, motorbikes, walkie-talkies and all of that. The government makes it a big deal. They make a big show out of it. Now they're making us understand that it is from the security votes that are using to buy those things. So you wonder, why make a big deal out of it? So I think, if the government fails to do anything, you must fix the security challenges of this country. The power sector must have, the right people administering the distribution. Let me put it this way: the generation and the distribution of this electricity, because it doesn't make sense if you have capacity to generate and you don't have enough capacity to transmit. What's going on? If you can generate as much as 10,000 megawatts and your capacity to transmit can carry only 3,000 megawatts, so the moment you keep loading the distributors, we say national grid has collapsed again, and then it keeps collapsing. So the government must be very intentional, and that's why we're having this conversation today. And I decided to just bring to Wednesday because our Fridays seems to be taken away from us now for the time being. We have another big guest that is going to be joining us, this Friday. The previous Friday, we had 2 Fridays ago, we had Comrade Omoyele were live with us in the studio. Last week Friday, we had Otumba Shegun Showumi, the PDP gubernatorial aspirant in Ogun State at the just concluded election. He was with us on Friday, and this Friday again we'll have another big guest. So I'm going to give you today. I mean, it's very important to know that every ministry is very important, whether Ministry of Water Resources, a Ministry of Labor and Productivity, Ministry of Health, Youth and Sports, humanitarian, education, whatever ministry, youth, however you think it is. We need to be sure, we need to certainly get the right person to handle these ministries. We don't want a situation whereby, a minister would come out and publicly admit that, well, I don't know what I'm doing in this ministry. They put me. I was not expecting to, to be posted to this ministry. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, people don't resign. People get those appointments and they learn on the job. Quite unfortunate. They turn the ministry to the period of internship. So you just get in there, and the process of you trying to familiarize yourself with what is going on, and a lot of terrible things have gone on under the table, way off the radar, and you cannot trace it because you don't have an idea of what is happening in that ministry. So every single ministry is absolutely important. However, we've talked about security. Now, we have a national security advisor that was the former chairman of an anti-graft agency. We have, the service chiefs with, quite, how do I put it this way, appreciable spread, the way they were spread across the geopolitical zones, the appointment. Now, expecting that the Minister of Justice or the Attorney General of the Federation will be someone that does not have any single business with politics. We've had attorney generals in this country that while they are still serving, there's been words that they have political ambitions, and there's no way there won't be conflict of interest. Yes. So we look at who becomes the Minister of Finance. We look at who becomes the Minister of Education. I would also look at who becomes the Attorney General of the Federation, because in all of this, justice is very key. You cannot have a functional society where the rule of law is not respected, where court orders are disobeyed, even by the people that makes these laws are actually the one even breaking the laws. So there's no way you want to have a functional society without having a proper judicial system that gives everybody a sense of belonging, a sense of justice, that if anything was unlawfully taken away from me, I can approach the court and get it back. And a ministry where people would have strong belief in the judiciary, and they won't think that judiciary is up for grabs. It depends on how much you have. Is the highest bidder, the winner takes all. So we need to have a minister that understands how important it is for us to have a functional society that is based on justice, that is based on equity, and is based on fairness. So whoever becomes the Attorney General of this country next must understand the business that he is going to do. So we're looking at that ministry as well, and we're looking at who becomes the Minister of Health almost on a weekly basis. I have one particular body from the health practitioners. If it's not the NMA today, it is the lab scientists tomorrow. Everybody is threatening strike. Everybody is saying these resident doctors are coming up. What exactly would the Minister of Health prioritize? The welfare of the people, improving the quality of health services, especially at the primary health level, where there's still reported cases of, child mortality, which is quite unfortunate. In a country as big as this, the sixth largest country in the world, the largest black, country in the world, and we're still talking about the issue of child mortality. So whoever becomes the Minister of Health must focus on what happens at the rural areas, at the grassroots, where people don't have, access to the big hospitals, the private hospitals, even the general hospitals. That should also be prioritized with the Minister of Health, and of course the Minister of Labor and Productivity. The last one was a lot of things. Distinguished Senator Chris Ngige, quite a lot of drama. Very interesting personality, by the way. I remember when he was summoned to the floor of one of the reps committee, and the issue he had with the member representing Ikeja Federal Constituency. Yes, that's Honorable James Faleke. And I was saying, small boy, I've been mushing boy, and I'm like, this is a federal minister appearing in front of a committee, and you're calling the member of the committee, oh, you're a small boy, I'm a VI boy, you're a mushing, and I'm like, wow. Interesting. So we have to be sure that the people that are going to handle these responsibilities understand the weight of expectations that is on their shoulders. Nigerians are asking too much questions. And when I mean too much, I'm not saying they don't have the right to ask. They have the right to ask. If you come to me in your campaigns, whether it is campaign promises or propaganda, whichever one you come with, I trust you enough to believe that you can bring all of those things you put in black and white to present to me, you can bring them to reality. So there's always going to be questions of when. If you say you can do it, when? And I remember that was one of the things that we talked about all through, the election period. It's not just saying you want to do this. You have to tell us how you want to do this thing. So let's open the conversation up. 0913-600-0410. Which of the ministries are you particularly looking up to? Who is going to handle what? The Ministry of Health, water resources. Which of these ministries are you particularly interested in? Who becomes what? 0913-600-0410. In case you're just tuning in, this is the Situation Room, and you're live on Milan 98.3 FM. We are the sound of.
Yeah, I dodging my call.
It's not intentional. You know that. It's not intentional.
Ministry of Education part in the last administration. If you can have those three ministries I mentioned, health, education, and labor, if you can have the right people there, they should bring something good to the table for people to rejoice on. In health, our health system is very bad. If you can have a minister that will be able to talk to the president for God's sake, can we just say to those
resident doctors?
Exactly, once and for us. The issue of education, can we just say to once and for us? And the Minister of Labor, what can we do to better the life of the people? If you can work on those areas, at the end of the day, it's not the minister that we praise itself.
Of course.
It's not the president that it's the we people that we give them kudos, not all those people that are giving themselves for. We are the ones to do that. So that's just my take for that.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. And don't forget that we're streaming this program live. Go on facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM on Facebook, and on Twitter, on YouTube, it's mainland 983 FM. Mainland 983 FM on YouTube, and the same on Facebook. So you can also drop your comments and watch us live in the studio. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. This is Olaiwola.
Mr. Olaiwola, you're welcome.
Yeah. No, those of the ministry they are already list on the your list. You look at it, the Ministry of Education is one of the areas that we have to concentrate. How many people that are graduating from school? Is it from primary school to secondary school to polytechnic? Let them give us actual people that are graduating on it. And the Minister of the Labor, let them not even including the productivity. Let them divide it. Let them divide it.
So you think the ministries should be, splitted?
Yes. So the Minister of Production will go entirely from the Minister of Labor. So the Labor will know that these are the people that are graduating this year. These are the people that are getting jobs, and these are the people that are not getting jobs. And these are the people that are going into the vocationally, and these are the people that are going into the trade. From there, now the Minister of the Production are now looking at it that this is what we can produce within our country to talk to even complementing our local consumption. This is where the problem is. We bring everything together. At the end of the day, we don't have the national planning for all the ministries. We don't have the national planning for their working ethics. This is the issue here. If we can have the proper educational planning, and the Ministry of Labor has it, at the end of the day, we see if we can be able to graduate like 100% of those people, 75% of them have to get job. 85% of them have to get job. And other people have to be going into other production so we can know the statistic that is working in our country. It's not needed that somebody come from Enugu to come and find job in Lagos. It's not even needed that the people from Lagos go to Sokoto to go and find job. The state also will know that this is our plan. This is the people that are producing every year from, and this is the work that is supposed to be creating for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well said, Mr. Lawala. Thank you. 0913-600-0410. We decided to bring our Friday home today, and the question I'm asking is, if you followed us, you've listened to in the introduction, which of these ministries are you looking forward to? And it looks like the Ministry of Education. A lot of people are interested in who becomes the Minister of Education. I think I am also. What we saw last year, I mean, it shouldn't happen again. So many months of strike, very unnecessary. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
Prince Wise. What's going on where you are?
Now one of my people beyond the make me laugh.
He's good to laugh. He's good to laugh.
OPEYEMI is yours.
He's good to laugh.
Make us know OPEYEMI when your time is come. We always leave everything to listen to you. You are talking about ministerial.
Yes.
For me, Minister for Works, Minister for Power, Minister for Education, and the Minister for Health, all these they are so important to me. Because, and there's somebody last week, I want that man to be either Minister for Work or Minister for Transport. Even though they want to put out to go and develop the Niger Delta, they can give him the position of Minister for Niger Delta. But I don't want the Minister for State. It's a taboo to me.
Okay.
One man holding 3 ministry is not okay by me. But I want Mr. President to do something for Nigeria. Give all those people all the ministers timeline, 1 year timeline. Anyone that fails to perform within a year, just let him go. He is the driver. Put them inside the vehicle. Anyone that is fails to perform, just drop him on the way.
Thank you, Prince Wise. Yes. Yes.
Taking that everything as well.
It's okay. Thank you.
I think I know things very hard now in Nigeria, but I'm very sure things will get better. I'm telling you.
Thank you, Prince Wise. 0913-600-0410. You can also join us on Facebook. I'm seeing messages on Facebook already. Facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. Hello, Mr. Tunde. Good evening.
Good evening, my lovely brother in here.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Thank you so much. Almighty God will bless you.
Amen.
But for me, all the ministry are important. One way to the other, all the Nigeria will benefit from me. But my own is that, when you are giving them, give them checking and balancing. We are the one that will judge them. That's it. Give them 36 months. I want to see your plan. If they are not working, change them. This was not party to party or no this thing. Whether electricity, health, education, all the ministry are important. Nigeria, in fact, for me personally, pertaining to the job, I want ministry for tourism. Money day tourism. If you go to Calabar, I travel a lot. I see what is happening. You don't know how much money they are making on tourism. That's what I'm saying. All the ministry are important. Our own is that give them the portfolio, check them balance to balance. Anyone that is not working, the people and they want to pay all the people that are working under them. Watch them. Let us know that we are watching them. We don't want to hear any corruption. Anybody that they call that they are doing corruption, they don't make Nigeria happy. Give them good and they let them praise the law of the land. For me, all the ministry are important. Our own is that give them target and they make Nigeria happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde Shitu, for always joining us on the show. 0913-600-0410. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is the Situation Room. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Prof.
If I call you Chief now.
Okay.
You're welcome, Mr. Rasa. You're welcome.
Let's thank God that you bring this topic. The only one ministry I'm expecting, let me say just two, and everybody will benefit, is works and housing. In housing, bricklayer will see work to do, plumber will work, carpenter will work, electrical will work, architect will work, civil engineer will work. Talk about it.
That's true.
Everybody, and they should just take it. Position in Lagos State, here is the housing estate there. All states should have their housing estates. Forget, everybody will work, everybody will see money. The money will circulate. There's just the scheme, because last 2 years, I called the former Soviet General Lagos State. He was sent to Abuja. I was asking, Madam, please, I'm looking for land. You see, where he said I will see the house, I'm not interested again. But if it is housing, that have been built by government, federal government housing,
low cost housing.
Everybody will see work.
True.
Low cost, yes. Everybody will see work to do. Talk about painter, all the suppliers that supply cement, supplies sand and granite, all of them will see work. After then the power. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. 0913-600-0410. As Nigerians await the decision of where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would assign which of the 45 already screened ministerial nominees, we're asking, which of these ministries do you think? I mean, I'm seeing comments now. Everyone agrees that all of the ministries are important. But with where we are right now, there are a lot of ministries that the moment the minister gets into office, you know, you are not even, you can't even wear long sleeve into the office. You are coming straight with your sleeves up and you're getting straight to work. I mean, there's so much to be done in this country. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Your name and where you calling from?
Tom Peters is my name.
You're welcome.
I'm calling from Ilikpeju.
You're welcome.
Well, I have a question for you.
Please go ahead.
Is there anything like Ministry of Indigenous Production?
I don't think so. We don't have.
I think we need something like that. Ministry of Indigenous Production. We need to look into that. I was born and grew up here in Lagos. And those days, my dad dealt with fabrics. He used to buy all the fabrics here in Lagos, not China, not Italy, not Turkey. The Francophone countries used to come and buy things from us. We supply their military, we supply their schools, we supply all their uniforms and use those days. But now it's nowhere to be found. I know you have traveled wide in Nigeria. Likewise me myself. I know somewhere in Abia State, they do things like leather. They do things like bags and the rest of other things. Now it's no longer there. People now go to China to buy or any other place in the world. I know somewhere in Enugu and in Anambra, they used to do things like hoe, plate and shovel and the rest of other things. It's no longer there. Everything has collapsed. We are now patronizing abroad. When you talk of tourism, you go to a place like Oshu, you talk of Plateau, they mark your clothes or your shoe. It's a good place for tourism. We need to harness all those things. We need to look inward. While we are looking at all those things, we also look at the Ministry of Power that to give it a priority so that because it will power us. We have the population. And before I forget, please, we also need the ministry that we need seriously, Minister of Sports. Okay, Nigeria has so much talent. Go to our stadium, it's dormant. Believe you me, if we start training boxers, if we start training swimmers, if we start training those with gymnastics and the rest of other things, and football is a huge industry that is running tomatoes in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Okay, we need to start looking inward. Okay? All ministries are important, but there are so many things that is lying fallow that we need to begin to harness. And forget all these things where Nigeria keep on crying. We don't have any business crying. I've lived in Europe, I've lived in East Africa. When I see people talk on radio here in Nigeria where they contribute, I laugh and cry at the same time. Please, let them create that Ministry of Indigenous Production. Let's start producing things again. We can do it, your best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. Ajami Olalekan Yusuf is saying on Facebook, with all the headlines today, only what I want is that before the government make policies, let them provide means for it also. Let them be regulators and the government should obey court order. All ministries are very important, but checks and balances would reduce at the cost of governance. Hello, good evening. You're welcome.
I'm interested in disaster ministry. That one is, I will call it Chop ministry. I recall that the former woman who was there, all the billions that were voted into that ministry, my children were on holidays. She said she was feeding school children. during the lockdown. We were all in the house. Her own school was open. And she was feeding some anonymous school children. I think they should probe that one first before they even appoint another person into that ministry. Because we are just bringing ministers to start, and all the roads that went on during Buhari time, are we going to leave it like that? If they leave it like that, means that they didn't come here to do anything good. I'm telling you, there's no time you just bring ministers like that without looking at what, especially that woman. I was thinking that the woman should be in EFCC answering questions, but they are bringing some other people that I don't know.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kangbelina. Thank you. Apologies. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. If you can call back. 0913600410. I have some messages to read on WhatsApp and on Facebook. 0913600410. Okay, Chika from Lekki is texting, and it says that they told us the current president fixed Lagos. Fixed Lagos, and some of us thought, is this Lagos I've lived in for the past 30 years? One thing is certain, would continue to live with these much touted political moves that disregards a proper economic thinking for personal political gains. Chika from Lekki, thank you. Hello, good evening.
OPEYEMI, this is Ayo from Owe. Pick my call now.
I have.
Okay. For me, all the ministries are important. But there are 4 ministries that I think all Nigeria should demand the right person and right actions. Number 1, Ministry of Justice. Without justice, I don't think anything will work in Nigeria. Number 2, Ministry of Trade and Investment. All these ones, that should be the coordinating point. Ministry of Trade and Investment. Number 3, Ministry of Finance. It is Ministry of Finance that's supposed to supervise all this corruption and eliminate it. And number 4, that should be Ministry of, Science and Technology. So for me, all of those are very, very important. So we needed to reorganize this Nigeria. And that was one of the reasons why I thought this man should be there, Tinubu. Or if they don't do that, I won't be happy. We need to restructure Nigeria. Have a nice day.
And you too, thank you very much. 0913600410. Well, I also believe that all of the ministries are important. Whether there are, there are also speculations that some of the ministries will be, separated. Probably Ministry of Higher Education away from the Ministry of Education, or Ministry of Youth and Sport and Recreation. I think the most important thing, a lot of people have also raised concerns about, the fact that we're going to be having the largest cabinet since 1999 or thereabout, about 48 ministers' names submitted. I'm also 100% for cutting the cost of governance, but I also think if you have them in numbers and they make the job easier, they deliver the dividends of democracy, nobody's even going to be interested if you have 1,000 ministers. As long as things are working, people can, have value to their life, to their existence and their ambitions. Who cares? Who cares whether we have 1,000 ministries? If the quality of life is good, if, education is good, there's justice everywhere, the banking sector is stable, there's, there's growth in the economy. I mean, nobody cares who becomes the minister. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Hello?
Your name and where you calling from?
Yes, our name is Dan. My name is Danny and I'm calling from Ayobo.
Dan from Ayobo, you're welcome.
Yes, talking about the ministerial part, the Minister of Finance mostly. Because just imagine during those time of money issue, we didn't hear anything from him, saying anything. Just
hello, Daniel. Okay, I think you try and call us back. I remember the old drama that also happened. Where the then Minister of Finance came out to say that, well, the CBN governor did not carry along on the decision to, introduce new notes into the, a lot happened in that last administration. And it's really important that we get it right at this time around. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
Mr. Lakunle, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. For me, I'm more concerned about continuity in some areas, and majorly for me, I need to look at oil and gas and petroleum. We're looking at AKK, 314 kilometers. We need to finish that so that we can ramp up our income, which is our revenues, which is very, very important for us at this time. Then we also need to continue to do a lot about the PIA and begin to implement all of those so that we can have a better NMPC and a better Nigeria. Then also I'll be looking at infrastructure, public works in particular. We also need to scale up in that because we've done probably about over 8,000 kilometers of road. About 6,000 have also already been given to NMPLC. So we expect them to be able to continue to push that also. So for me, by and large, with all the people and the things we have put together, I expect that we'll be able to work. But Nigerians should please be patient and not expect magic. Magic doesn't work when it comes to economy. We need to grow our economy. Once our economy grows, it then affects a lot of things. As somebody was talking about growing indigenous companies and all of that, very good. But we know that we also have to fix power. Power is what makes industry grow. And that's why we expect that the things Buhari has put on ground, ensuring that we'll be able by 2025 we should have 25 megawatts, repair all our lines and be able to put all those things in place. So I believe there's a lot of follow-up we need to do and ensure that those things happen. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olakunle, for joining the conversation. The Ministry of Petroleum, a lot of people are not even talking about it. Former President Muhammadu Buhari was the Minister of Petroleum for 8 years, and then we had the Minister of State for Petroleum that is also an aspirant for the post of the gubernatorial seat of Bayelsa State. That's Demi Silva. Well, Arakunrin for money on Facebook is texting, and it says all the ministries are very important. What really matters is the political will of Mr. President. Going forward, Mr. President should brace up. Aside the ministries, we want a quality economic team. Yes. The last economic team was handled by the then Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo. Well, keep your calls coming in. Keep your messages coming in as well. Hello, good evening. Okay, this person is not ready to talk to us. Ambassador Musbao.
OPEYEMI.
You're welcome.
How are you, my brother?
I'm very well, and you?
Not decide to take it easy this evening.
I mean, life should be easy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You say no to tension. Yeah, everything has solution. All problems have solution, but how do we get to the solution is what we should be thinking about. Now, okay, let's do 1 + 1 now. We are talking about ministry. Me too are talking about ministry. We have different ministers for different ministry since, let's say, 1999. Do you ever see one thing? We only change the ministers. Do we change those ministries? Those who are working in the ministry. Do you ever think that way? And when the minister works and he go, another come, the same ministry, those who are working in the ministry,
the same secretaries, the same drivers, the same director.
And these are the cocoa. These are the people. No minister can perform money without this permanent secretary.
True.
Or whatever. It's not possible. And these people are there. They are called them. I won't call them what they used to call them. They call them civil servants. They call them other way. That's the main problem we are facing in this country. Now, another minister is coming out. These people who work with the other ministry, they are waiting for the minister. When the minister wants to do initial grants, they will tell him, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. And this is not faith. So that's to their soul. They will separate everything for him. They will fight back. Now, what is going on right now? Now, I think Mr. President should do one thing. He should just close his eyes and just let people know that corruption is no way. Because no one fights corruption. Corruption fight back. He will surely fight back. Because people that are there, they are there already. They are everywhere. They have stand. People stand more than the president. The president is powerful. brother, my personal problem now. If government comes in, we should face it. It's not that we say, about now, why you do this for our people now? Because our people that won't do that. So a lot is happening in Nigeria here, but we are ready. All people, all has to be on them to say no to all this.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Musbah.
You can't pass any paper in any without pay money. You will pay something.
It's really terrible. It's really terrible. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I totally understand Ambassador Musbah's position, and that's actually why I allowed him to finish the conversation. I mean, there are a lot of things going on within the civil service, and until we're ready to tell ourselves the truth, there won't be magic in that particular sector of the country. I mean, the kind of, I'm trying not to get the right words out of my mouth, but the kind of things that goes on, I mean, the bottleneck you have to go through, and the kind of, let me put it in quotes, corruption that goes on in those places. Then ask yourself, how many things, how many documents, how many files, how many proposals, how many, how many biddings would the minister be able to oversee personally? So there's a lot of commitment that needs to be put in place by the present administration. A lot of orientation and reorientation would have to be done to the members of the civil service so that they would know that if you continue to, substitute files, or if you continue to collect money, or if you continue to inflate prices of contracts, or everything that has to do with government, it won't make any sense. It won't make any moral justification, for us to now be blaming the government, that they are not delivering. Where you yourself, you remove files, you take people's files, you ask for money before you process their requests in the civil service. Everybody has a role to play, and I'm going to borrow a line from Ambassador Musbah. He said all hands must be on deck, and that's the fact. Everybody needs to be involved with this. Everybody needs to be interested. If the minister comes on board and the minister has beautiful ideas, brilliant ideas, and the system that is come to inherit does not particularly smell transparency, it's going to be difficult for the minister to even perform. Thank you very much for calling back.
Thank you for accepting me, sir. I just want to remind Ambassador Musbah that what he said is true. They frustrated Fashola during the power and works. They removed power from him. They said that this is not Lagos State government, this is not Lagos State. And I just want to remind you, I don't think these people, especially our president, is here to fight corruption. If not, when he was Lagos State government, he did fight corruption. After then, he did fight corruption. No. All these arguments that are stopping us in Lagos State, did they fight them? No. So what they are saying is that we've already got it wrong. And then again, maybe you can see that people don't even talk about the end because they've already seen the fraud behind their system. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. Sam from Magodo is texting, and it says all the ministries are very important, but the question is, are the ministers going to work, or they are just there to justify the names as placeholders? Okay, Sam from Magodo, I think we should just give them the benefit of the doubt that they would work. Hello, good evening. Okay, you also said that even the screening process of those ministers looked unserious. We want to see the country work ASAP. Thank you very much, Sam from Magodo. I think we all want to see the country work. That's the truth, irrespective of a political affiliation. And I always tell people, one of the worst things I could hear anybody say is, look at the current situation of the economy, and you open your mouth and you say, we told them. You told them what? It's not like it's people have the right to their political decision. So the fact that they've trusted someone and he probably didn't deliver the goods does not particularly guarantee that your own candidate would deliver the goods. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, OPEYEMI.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Good evening. How you doing, my brother?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm fine. OPEYEMI, you've told a lot about all these issues.
You didn't tell me your name and where you're calling from.
Damilola from Malaba.
You're welcome.
Okay. The thing is just that we have ministries. We have been having them for ages. The first thing means that are they actually effective? And let's look at the number of ministers, the caliber of individuals we are putting into those ministries. They are the power steering. If the minister is not actually good enough, there's nothing. The workers working in the ministry, many of them have been there for more than 20, 25, 30 years. And they didn't enjoy that, they keep moving around the circle. High level of bureaucracy. They didn't enjoy that this time around. Even these ministers we have now, without portfolio, how much confidence do we have in them? How much belief do we have that, okay, the ministry they will handle actually will perform very well?
They have
we
to,
are only being hopeful.
They have to get into office before we know whether they would perform or not.
We are only being hopeful because I don't think we know Mr. A will handle this ministry. We will know. Now we are still waiting for portfolio to be released by Mr. President. Now the thing is that it's a game of in fact it's a game of minds. Or let me say the game of the dark. Because now we don't know who is who. We only have the names. Not for fully, but when they get in the podium, we now actually look into that person. Would this person be able to handle this ministry? Okay, I mean, we are only being hopeful. Nobody can say where we are going. But I just pray that this government should actually maintain the focus because they are already out of the track, already out of the lane. They should get back to the track. And if it's not possible again, they should turn the subsidy. And let's end this on unnecessary like pains and agony. Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you very much. More messages. Ima from Festac is texting and it says, apologies quickly. I'm tired when you hear agent of political ideologies by calling in saying things like the president should close his eyes and tell everyone to stop corruption. Wouldn't he after he had opened his eyes? I understand what you're saying there. He said that is not the process or strategy. 200 million people cannot change their attitude in a day. Then a new country would appear. Ambassador Musba needs to understand that we need a watertight system. Is important at important areas. Okay, not the type of political narrative that he's offering. Okay, thank you very much, Ima from Festac. Hello, good evening.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Hello. Okay, maybe you try and call us back. We're live on Mila 98.3 FM, and well, time check. We're almost done. We're really pressed for time. Okay, this should be my last call on the show today. Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Good to have you back.
Thank you. Okay, some people should stop insulting us by telling us to be calm. As in economy, that things does not just take shape immediately. Okay, I think it's an insult to Nigerians because these guys bastardize this country and we are calm. Nobody is agitating this time around, providing solutions. And the next thing is for us to be calm. I mean, okay, if we begin to list what these guys have done to this country, I mean APC guys shouldn't be telling us to be calm. We have to air our view. We have to speak up so that they can take it up from what we are saying. We are even lending them a free wisdom for them to better things. So they should stop insulting us by telling us that things that I don't even know what they are saying. In all honesty, these APC guys do not know how to handle the economy. That's just the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that will be the size of the package on the show today. Tomorrow is Thursday, and God willing, I will be back in this space with Mr. Muyiwa Adeyemi, the head of political desk from Guardian newspaper, and together we'll go around at this key issue. By the way, last week Thursday, I made a joke that I don't hope. I'm not praying that the president would not have assigned portfolios by the time he's back tomorrow. And that means we'll also still focus on some of the ministries and the expectations, and then we see how all of this thing would go. It seems trouble is brewing in Niger State. The bandits are having a free day, and the constant attacks on the military men in that state is beginning to worry a lot of people. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should look into that and arrest that as quick as possible. My name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE. It's been my pleasure having you join us on the show today. Tomorrow, we'll be back, God willing, by 4 p.m. live in the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Have a very good evening. I'll join you tomorrow.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram,